Loud, and we're good. Okay. Share my screen right here. Okay. Share. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Information. Thank you. All right. So got a couple of review sheets. I think the first one mentioned they mentioned subclasses and interfaces. Okay. So have you all seen this type of chart, a Java collection hierarchy before? Did Ryba show it of some sort? Something similar to these? You don't need to know like what these individual things are. It's just like if it's have you seen this type? Because this is like um it shows the difference between an interface and a class, subclass, right?
I haven't seen this one before though.
Well, in that case, well, we see here, right? So we have the two arrows, implement and extend, right? So in general, the difference between subclasses and interfaces, think of it like this. Let me, can I draw? Can I draw? I can. Okay. Say I have a class called animal, right? This is an animal, right? All animals share common things. They have like common traits. All right. I'm not gonna list them out because they're there, right? Um, maybe a list of all animals have legs, all animals have eyes, etc., 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 right? Um, but not all animals are the same, right? So we could use, wait, sorry, damn it. Right there. Okay. So we could use the animal class and create subclasses, right? So we could create one for like, let's say cats, cats. And then we have one for dogs, right? And then we have one for fish, right? And etc. Right? These are what's it called? Subclasses, right? Think of it as like all of these are animals, but they also share have things that are exclusive just to them, right? So cats have stuff that dogs don't have. Dogs have things that fish don't have, right? They could share things, and and some of those things that are shared could be within the animal class, right? So that's the idea of a subclass, right? Does that make sense to everyone? I'm gonna keep the chat open as well, just in case people say anything there. That's the idea of a subclass. It's like taking a class and extending it, adding more features to it, right? The this animal class is what governs all animals, and these individual subclasses all come from the animal class. Like all animals have legs, all animals have eyes, right? But not animal all animals are cats, not all animals are dogs, right? So these things will have individual things, right? Like fish, could have gills, a gills class, I'm sorry, a gills feature, but that's not in cats or dogs, right? But do fish have legs? No, I don't think they have legs. So you know, the legs are like they have eyes, right? Fish have eyes, right? So they'll inherit the eyes thing from the animal, and they'll add an extra feature called gills. Right? So these are subclasses, right? The other one is what's it called interface, right? So think of interface. The easiest way to think of it is like a template, right? So let's give an example here. What's it called? Let's say a shape interface. What does a shape interface mean? All shapes need to have length, let's say length, width, area, right, and perimeter. But not all shapes implement that the same way, right? Whereas here, animals, for like the animal class, like all animals have eyes. right? And most animals like it's the same concept of eyes. You just have the number of eyes. But when it comes to like the shape, right? Different shapes. I mean, can you see different color charts? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That is a good point. Should have pointed it out. Um, is is this better or is this better? One more choice.
Yeah, the orange one is a bit better.
The orange one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have. Does everyone understands the idea of subclasses, right? Even though it's hard to see. Is everyone okay with that? The idea of subclasses? I think Rodney understands it, but anyone else? Everyone else got it. Okay, so the idea of interfaces, like I said, think of it as a blueprint or a template, right? So we have a shape interface, and in addition to length and width, right? All shapes have length and width. It has, say, it has a function for area and a function for perimeter. It's hard to write out the words with a mouse, but if you realize, not all shapes share the same formula for area and perimeter, right? So for example, the area of a triangle, it's a bad triangle, it's a better triangle, is different than the area of a rectangle or of a circle, right? And that's different than the area of a square. It's a pretty good square, right? Does that make sense? So all of them share the area like function title, but not all of them share the actual area function itself, right? What's the area for triangle? It's 1/2 base times height. Area of a circle, I think it's, correct me, 2 pi r. 2 pi, 4, is it 4? No, 4/3 pi r squared is, I don't know, it's something around those lines. It probably, it's not, I don't think it's 2 pi r squared. 2 pi r is perimeter, I think. Anyways, it's something along those lines, even if it's not that specifically. What is the area of a square? Is length times width, right? So length times width. So you see how we implement the area function in different ways, right? Is everyone okay with that? So that's what we come into an interface, right? It's a blueprint. So usually see interfaces. Let me actually use as an example here.
So,
Um,
question.
yes.
Since they're all like different shapes, right? And obviously, the interface saying that if you're going to be a shape, you have to have an area.
Hmm.
Would you like, would you have to like override so you can like put in formulas specifically for that shape?
Well, the idea of an interface, and I'll show this example right now, is that see here how we don't actually write anything for the function. It just has the title line, right? So you don't really, I don't think you need to override anything.
Okay, cool. And also, I never really got to ask this question in class, but for the function that's actually in the interface, I'm sure you actually have to like write what that does
Yeah.
outside. Okay, great. Figured.
So like for example, in the interface shape, any class that implements the shape interface has to like have, I'm pretty sure if it uses a function, it has to have like some code in it that saying what it does. Like for example, if it uses execute, it has to have like, let me write it out here. So it would be like void. I don't think it's gonna, well actually let me use something else. Is it run right here? Nope. Nope. Right here. There you go. So void execute, and you would fill in the blank here. Okay. Damn, what'd I do? All right, does that make sense? Is everyone okay with the difference between subclasses and interfaces? And this is usually a chart that you'll see. You might not have seen it now. But you most likely will see it either later on in your 212 course or maybe in 313 or 323 when you learn about data structures. But is everyone okay with the difference? Any questions before we get onto the question, like the actual questions themselves? I will take the silence as no. I'm gonna erase the drawings and let's get started. So we have lectures 1 through 8. Let's go in order. I think yeah, let's do that. Let's do these review questions. And yeah, let's take from there. We'll speed run the entire 6 pages. I think we get the 6 pages done in reasonable time. So before we get started, does anyone have any questions or any specific question from these reviews that they want to start with in particular? All right, we're just gonna do all of them. Okay. Um, First question. Circle the best answer. So we have into X. A lot of this might seem very straightforward because it might be the similar topics from 111, but let's go over it. So we have int X is 5, int Y is equal to X, Y is equal to 10. Okay. So we have, let me use this one. Let me use the other one so then I can save it. Okay. So we have X is 5. And we have another Y. It's 10. I'm sorry. It's X. It's equal to X. So whatever X is equal to. I think it means this. Yeah. Either this or it points. Oh, bit of a warning. I most might make mistakes. If I do make mistakes, don't like sit in silence and just like listen. Like actually um correct me. Because even though I've never taken 212 with Ryba, and even though like a lot of this might be like simple, I'm prone to mistakes when it comes to this type of material. So, but yeah, so then we say y is equal to 10. So y is 10. And then we print out what x is. So what is it going to be? What's going to be the answer? A, B, C, or D? You could say it in the chat if you want.
Would it be A?
Everyone,
Or no,
everyone,
not A. What am I saying? B?
B. Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
cool.
we set x to 5. These two lines don't really make a difference to us because we're printing out x. So it's B. Okay, very good. All right. So now number 2. So x is equal to 3. Label this like this. Also for your exam, if it does help, what I like to do, what I like when I took this exam, like for these types of things, especially when it comes to variables and you have a lot of them, I like writing them out and like giving these little boxes, right? So x is 3, and then we do x is equal to x plus 2. So whatever x is, we add plus 2 to it. Whatever x is, we add 2 to it, and then we store that in here. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and then we print out x. So the answer is going to be A, B, C, or D. Once again, give me in the chat. B. Very good. See, not bad. Okay. Number 3. So we have an array A and it's of length 4, right? So it's gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. And remember, the indices of an array start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And we want to print out A2. So what's A2 going to be? That's going to be the index 2. And remember, that's technically the third element because we start at 0. So what is it gonna print out here? Okay. Okay. So we got 2 A's and 2 B's. I think we got 3 of each now. For those who are saying A, well, okay, it's not C or D, right? So that's fine. Why do you say A? You can type it out in the chat if you want. And for those who are saying B, similar question. Why do you say B?
Because when you like initial, like since they didn't like put any like values in it, are
Mm-hmm.
they all supposed to be like 0?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys got the main idea that there's nothing in it. But now here this begs the question, like when you initialize an int, what is the value stored? Um, so I think because it's an integer, the default int value is 0. Someone correct me if I am wrong. I think null applies to like objects and yeah, null applies to objects, right? This applies to objects. Int initialized to zero, right? So null would be for objects. Like if I had an array of strings, then the initialization would be null. But here, because it's an int, it's zero. Okay. Everyone okay with that notion? Any questions about it?
Wait, what? I was just curious because I'm pretty sure I was doing this myself and I
Mhm.
originally put C. Why is it not C?
Because it wouldn't be undefined because when you declare the array, I don't want to confuse you guys with like too much like outside of 212, but all it does is when you declare an array, the computer has to create the storage for it in the actual computer itself, right? So think of it like when it creates a storage that it needs to have placeholders for the actual objects, right? Otherwise, it's not going to be able to like take up the entire storage. So it needs to put something in. And in terms of like when it comes to code, null and zero, these are like placeholders when you initialize stuff. Like for example, if I have a new int, like say int x, right? Without declaring it, it has to create a box somewhere. And it fills the box with an initialize with a some value just to keep the place of it. So initially for ints, it's zero. If I say I want to create string um s, right? I think you need a new string, but let's just use this as an example. It will create the box with a string, right? I'm sorry, it's not the name of the variable, it's s, right? And it'll put in some placeholder. And in terms of string, because string's an object, that would be null, right? So it's not going to be undefined because there's technically something in there. It's just like the default value when you don't put anything in when you initialize. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? So in terms of, because it's an int, it will be zero.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Let's keep it going. All right, so we have s, substring is hello. And we want to print out the substring from indices 1 to 4. So let's write it out here. So we got, remember if we want to label it, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what answer would it be? A, B, C, or D? So we got one C so far. We got one B, okay. B, B. For those saying B, what's your reasoning? Why is it not C? Someone new. You can type it in the chat or if you want to unmute, feel free. The stopping point is at 4. We stopped at 4, but do we include 0 or do we exclude it? hmm Whenever you use substring, the first parameter is included. So this is included. The second parameter is excluded. So it goes up to 4, but doesn't include 4. Okay, is everyone okay with that? Elizabeth, does that make sense? Why it's not C? hmm So it's B. Okay.
I think before I chose D for that question. Uh, how would you even get it to print out HE if it was supposed to?
Uh, you would do 0 to 2. Substring 0 to 2.
But isn't it supposed to stop like before that? You know what? Actually, never mind. Okay, that makes sense.
because it stops before the last index. So if you want to print HE, you go one index above. I think if you exclude the second parameter, it goes to the very end, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's the case. So if you want to get HE, you would do s dot substring 0 to 2. I think actually if it's one, let me actually search it up. It's mm, mm, mm. So we got substring. Where is it? Okay, so AB substring. Okay, begin index, int, and index. Okay, so these are the two substrings. Okay. So if you don't include the second parameter, it's just the only parameter is going to be where it starts from. So it'll go from where it starts to the very end. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions. Number 5. So we have string S is CSCI 212. We want to print out s dot index of 2. So what would be the answer? Remember, we're index of 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any takers? What would be the answer to s dot index of 2? So we got an A, we got a B, we got a lot of B's. Why you guys say B? Hmm. So it looks for the first occurrence of a character in a string, right? So in this case, it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, index 4. All right. Look here. Yep, it returns the index in the string of the first occurrence of the specified character. Yep, that's it. First occurrence. So it'll be 4. Okay. Anyone, any questions about that? Okay.
Uh, hmm, just a quick question.
What?
How would you get like the last like two? How would you get the one at index 6 if you wanted to get that one?
Mm, you would use the function last index of. See, that's the last index of. Yep. Of the last occurrence of the specified character.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mhm. No problem. All right, so now let's move on to these. Okay, accessing A10. So we're accessing element, I think 11 or index 10. When A has length 5, results in which error would I get? This one's a bit obvious. It hits you in the face, but yeah. Must I explain further on why this is the answer? We're good. Any questions about that?
Wait, can you explain that real quick?
All right, so when you have an array, right, of a certain length, in this case it's 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say that's 5. And I want to get the index 10. Here we have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The highest index is 4. Does index 10 exist? Right? Does it exist? No. So whenever we get an index that isn't within the bounds of the array, we get an array index out of bounds exception.
Okay,
Right?
got it.
Is everyone okay with that? But I think Elizabeth, you okay with that? Because I think you asked to the question as well, their explanation. Is everyone okay with that? Why it's a array index out of bounds? Because the index isn't within the specific range of the indices for that array. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Arrays determine their size using which one? Size, length field, get length, count. B. hmm Length. Um, it's not A because size, this is for the, I believe it's it's not for arrays, it's for like other containers like array lists, right? The array before I go further, arrays these are like built in from Java, right? Or like from the thing itself, right? Array lists, these are classes. This is like a not a separate class that's like also built in. But arrays are like given from right from the get-go. So for arrays, if you want to get their size, you do dot length, right? Key notice, see how there's no parentheses afterwards? That's how you know it's like kind of built in, right? Jumping off this, if you go to number 8, we see what gives the number of elements in an array list. So what would the answer to this one be? Is everyone okay with Y7 is just A? I mean, Y7 is B? Okay. Who said A? Hassan, are you okay with that? Is that everyone good?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. For 8, which gives the number of elements in an array list? What's going to be the answer? I think that might be the end. I think you guys are correct. It's size. All right. Let's just check it by using the documentation. Array list. It has size. Bingo. Right? See how it has like a parentheses at the end? Like most of these have parentheses. It's because it's like a custom method inside of like a class, right? These are different classes. The array um the array itself is kind of like built into Java, right? So it's size. Yep. Everyone's correct. Okay. Let's move on. Number 9. So we have int A is 1, 2, 3. Int B is A, and B0 is going to be 10. So when I print out A index 0, what do I get? What am I going to get as the value? hmm B, right? That's a really bad circle. Very good. It is B, right? Because now, um, contrary to C++, where like you had to deal with all those pointers, I'm not sure if any of you have taken 211 and you had to deal with pointers. Java doesn't like have to you don't have to worry about that. So here I have A is equal to that is into an array. If I say B is equal to A, it's kind of like this. Bingo. Right? So it points. So it's inherently using the pointer system. And then when I said B0 is equal to 10, it sets this. Whatever B is pointing to, the index 0 of that array is going to be 10. So it's going to print 10. So A0 is now 10. And thus it's this. Okay. Very good, very good. Y'all are on a roll. Okay. Counter C1 is new counter. Counter C2 is C1, C2.increment. System.out.println C1.getCount. What's going to be the answer? So I have one B. I have two Bs. I have a lot more Bs. Yep. Similar reason for the last one, right? Because if I create a new counter and I set Is this C1? Security count class right here. So C1 points here. And C2 is gonna equal C1. That's a 2, sorry. So that equals that as well. And if I increment using C2, it increments the same object. So 1. Okay? All right, we're on a roll. 11. Counter A is equal to new counter. Counter A is equal to a counter. Counter B is equal to a new counter. B is equal to A. So I'm gonna say this is equal to this. So how many counter objects exist? So I got a couple of A's and a couple of B's. For those who say A, why is that the case? Or for those who say B, why is that the case? Either one.
Because I guess when you say new, you make like a new thing. So even though
Hmm.
say equal, it still technically exists until it's like buttons, I guess.
But didn't it like B equal to A, so wouldn't it like cancel it or like garbage it?
Exactly. Right. So your point, Rodney, of it being created initially is correct. Yeah, there was two objects. But the moment, like I think Vipasha mentions in the chat right now, we set B equal to A. So now B is no longer connected to the object it created, it's now connected to the object A created, right? And I'm not sure who here is taking 211, and I'm not sure if they bring up the idea in 111, most likely 211. But in C++, whenever, like for example, if this was C++, there would be two objects. Like in C++, if we have two objects, right? Say A is this, B is this, and then I say B is this object still exists in C++. You have to manually delete objects, right? But in Java, this is why I love Java, because I don't gotta worry about any of this. They have, what is it called again? Uh, Garbage collector. I think it is garbage collector. Automatically, whenever anything is dereferenced, it'll pick it up and it'll throw it out. So you don't have to worry about stuff like this happening. For example, in C++, if I did this in C++ and I never deleted the extra object, that would be bad because that would lead to a memory leakage. But here in Java, we avoid that because whenever anything is dereferenced, boom, gone. So it's going to be only one counter. Does that make sense to everyone? The reason why that is done is
So,
because, sorry, was that a yes or no?
I was gonna just say, like, since you said B equal to A, I guess the old
Mhm.
value got for B got deleted.
Yeah, the old object for B is gone because there's nothing pointing to it anymore. Does that make sense? Like for example, I can't reference this object anymore. It's just gone. It's just like once I take out. Let me write here. Um, See how this is the A and this is B, right? So just to say this is object X, object Y, and A is to X, and B is to Y. Once I can get to either one of these by using A or B. But once I remove this connection and make this connection point to X instead, this object I can no longer like get to it because there's nothing to get to it from. Right? There's no roads to get to this city, right? So that's why what Java does is it deletes the object because if nothing gets to it, it's never going to be used, and thus it's going to go to the garbage. Does that make sense? Does that help explain it a bit more?
Yeah, does. Thank you. No,
No
stuck on this
worries.
question too.
Is everyone else okay with it? It was a bit of a divisiveness. What was it? No, not divisiveness. There was two sides to the question. There were people. For those who answered B, do you see why it's A? Because of the garbage collector? Other than Elizabeth? Nice hamster. I want, and that's a really nice profile picture. Is that a hamster? No, it's a hedgehog. Very nice. Okay. 12. Well, we technically already answered it. Is what happened to the original object created for B? Well, it became garbage because nothing references it anymore, so it's gone. Okay, so it becomes garbage. Now 13 is asking, okay, so we now have A. So A is gonna get, and this is where, like I said, I'm drawing it out helps out. A is a new counter. B is a new counter. A is equal to B. So A is B. Points here, and this connection is gone. What happens? Garbage collector comes in, deletes it. Oh, for those who came in a bit late, please fill out the attendance form that Daniel sent in the chat. We need the data to see who shows up and any feedback after. At the end of it, if you do need to leave early, we have a feedback form as well. So but yeah, just it helps us get data for the review sessions. So please fill that out. Where were we? Okay, so A is equal to B. Boom. And now B is equal to a new counter. So now we have a new object. B points here, and this gets deleted. This connection. So how many objects exist now? How many objects are there? Okay, I got one answer. Two answers. Three answers. Four answers. Five answers. I'm waiting for one more. There we go. Yep. B. Because yeah, this initial object was deleted, but afterwards we create a new object and point it to B. Right? And this object doesn't get deleted because, well, it's being referenced by A. It has a label. So it doesn't need to be deleted. It doesn't need to be deleted. Okay. So bouncing off of that, from question 13, now how many objects are garbage then? From the drawing, if that helps. How many objects are garbage?
One of them.
Yep. Sounds good. Just one object.
But
Is everyone?
question for 13.
Yes.
Since B now references like a new counter, what I guess then A would just go back to representing what it had before. Or
Say that question one more time. Sorry.
since B references like a new counter, or
Yes.
would would A just go be what it was referencing before, or no?
So are you saying because B is now referencing this, would A go back to this object?
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, I was muted. But yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, because remember, once we delete the connection, it automatically gets deleted. So after B gets this new object, like before this, like I think of this line, this object gets deleted. So there's no like object for A to go back to, right? You can't undo what you deleted. So once you've created the connection, anything that needs to be garbage is gone.
So then
And
you
there's no way
have to
to
like
get it back.
reassign it then?
Say it one more time.
You have to reassign it to another counter or something else?
Yeah, like see here how A is equal to B. A has been reassigned to this counter,
Okay.
right? This was originally B's counter, but A also got it. So both of them link to the same counter. And then after B gets assigned to a different counter, the connection A had with this counter still exists. So the count, let's say this is counter one, counter two, counter three. So A is still connected to counter two. Counter one's gone. You can't get it back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got it. Anyone else have any questions? Any other questions? Right. Okay. What is an alias? 15.
Would it be B?
Hmm. Yep. Second reference to the same object. Think of it as like a multiple names for the same object. Right. So for example, in this, where is it right here? In this example, I believe B would be an alias for A. So you could call the same object through A or B. Any questions about that? I'm gonna wait for at least one person saying they're okay. Or that works too. Next time it's gonna be two people. All right, so static void add one. into x. So x is equal to x plus 1. We have a is equal to 5. We call the function add 1 to a, and we print out a. So what's it going to print out? Okay, so we got 1 vote for a. We got 2 votes for b. 2 votes for a. Oh, it's a tight race, tight race. How many votes? I lost track. Damn it. Where's the first one? 1, 2, 3, 4 for A, 3 for B. Okay, so for someone who clicked A, oh, 4 for, oh my God. Emmanuel, you just say B just to even it out. For someone who said A, why is that? And someone who said B, why is that? Because 5 is being passed in for X. Okay. I chose A because the function was called before printing, but I can see it being B because you might need to call it while printing. Okay. I chose static void add 1. Well, I choose B because add 1 isn't changing variable A since it's passed by value, not by reference. I think by reference, by value, that's for C plus. Like, are you saying for the last comment? Are you saying because there's no like and sign here? This is only for C plus plus. Java doesn't have the and sign for passing by reference. Java is pass. I'm pretty sure it is. Mm, static void add 1 int x int a is 5. Give me a second. Let me just not static functions in Java. Change the variable. Uh, yeah, feel free to unmute your mic.
I think because I believe Ryba mentioned it as well, because in Java it's always like passed by reference. And
Mhm.
that's why I picked B, because even if you change the value in the function, the original value that you set for A doesn't change.
I am gonna go with your yeah. I don't know. This is the static that's messing me up, but I think you're right. X equals x plus 1. Add 1. I think you're right. Um, mm, 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 mm. Pass by value. Okay, okay, okay. Object value. Example object. Mm, can modify but cannot change by reference.
Ryba posted the answer sheet to this as well. And in
Could,
his answer sheet,
mm,
he put 5 because it says explanation primitive passed by value.
okay, I think we'll go with that then. Um, yeah, I think part of me is just a static that's throwing me off because you don't usually see statics like this in like other than class. But I think you're right. It's class by value. We'll go with B. Sure. Pass by value. That's why I don't know the increment variable A for, okay. So if I were to print out X here, then it would print 6. But now because it's passed by value, it's 5. Okay. Is everyone okay with that? I think I might have confused you all by confusing myself. Is everyone okay to see why it's 5, not 6?
So how would you make it print 6?
Um, I think it might need to return something if you wanted to print 6, but after updating it, it would need to return X. So you would do like A is equal to add 1A, something like that. You're confused?
So it would have to just be int type pretty much.
Say that one more time.
So it would have to be like an integer type function for it to actually return like the value, the X.
Something like that, I believe. Yeah. Damn, well, why am I forgetting this? This is like the basics. Damn, static void add one int x. The reason why it's 5 is because you get a copy of it of whatever the value's passed in. So this is 5. And then you update whatever it is here. So if I called it here, x would equal 6, right? But afterwards, I think this A is referencing this A. I think because it's void too, so it doesn't technically return anything. I think that's why. Okay. It's 5. Okay. Yeah, because here A, it kind of we have A here, right? So we have A, this is the main function, think of it like this. And we have 5, and then we have the function add 1. Add 1. It's going to get a copy of whatever is passed in as a parameter. What do we pass in the parameter is A. So this is going to label X. It's going to copy whatever is A. So X is 5. It's going to add 1. So then X becomes 6. And then, but in the main, we print A, and that's going to get this A, and that's going to print 5. Okay, I think I get it. We get it now. Is everyone okay? Azra, who's confused? Azra, are you confused? Who's confused? Whoever's confused, are you unconfused? If you're still confused, I think who mentioned it? Pasha, yeah, reference the answer sheet. I think the explanation the professor gave might be the best one, but it's 5 because in add 1 we're having a copy of A. We're not modifying A itself. We're creating a separate copy of it. Okay. Okay, we're good. Static void add 1, counter C increment, counter X equals new counter, add 1 X, system out the print line, X dot get count. So now what is this going to print out?
Zero, probably, probably zero.
So we got a few for A, a few for B.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh yeah, I gotta explain why I want. Okay, so here the logic changes a bit because we're no longer dealing with primitives, we're dealing with objects, right? So here we have counter X is new counter, right? So this is going to be a new counter object, not variable. And then here, because we're passing in an object as a parameter, so then we have the add one. This is going to get whatever's passed. So this is by reference, not by value, because it's an object. This is no longer like a primitive, right? So whatever it does here, so it's going to do increment. It's going to increment in the original object. So that's why it's one. Did everyone see that?
Can you explain
Here
that
it
real quick again?
say it one more time.
Can you explain that again?
Okay. Here it doesn't update it outside because X, remember, int is a primitive. Remember how very earlier I said like arrays are different than array lists because arrays are like array lists are objects while arrays are like built in. Ints are built in. These are like primitives, right? So if I pass it into a function, it passes by value. It creates a copy of it. But objects, these aren't primitives. These are like um, non-primitives. These are like actual objects themselves. So if I pass objects into functions, it doesn't just create a copy of the object, right? Because then what would it do? It would delete that, so it's useless. So then what it would do is it gets a reference to the object we're calling, right? So add one, because we're passing in the object for X, whatever it does here, it's going to impact the original object. Rodney, you're unmuted. Do you have a question?
Oh, I'm unmuted. I didn't even realize. But honestly, I think I get this.
Hassan, does that make sense? Why it changes it?
Kinda. I mean,
Do you want me to explain more?
I get
Do
the
you want me to explain one
primitive
more
and
time,
the
or
I get the primitive part and thing. I'm just reading it. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's about it.
do you want me to explain this 117 one more time, or
So
Yeah.
because it's like an object, it's like actually the void part doesn't really matter too much. Or
well, I think void just does is like the return type of the function because this function doesn't return anything. So in terms of void, that doesn't really matter. But because it's an object, we can't. So the idea of here is we create a copy of the primitive because it's like think of it like this. It's a primitive. You don't really need it unless you like return it. You don't really need it afterwards. But here we have to create Java. How do I put it like this? You wouldn't intentionally create something that takes like that takes so much that takes effort to create just to delete it, right? Objects are much more complicated to create than primitives. Because remember, primitives are built in, right? So it's like pretty easy to create them and delete them. But objects aren't. So here, because we're passing in an object, a counter, a custom object into the parameter, we are then referencing that object whenever we do anything inside the function. Does that make sense? Because X, in this case, counter isn't a primitive, it's a counter, it's an object. Right? So if we want a little note, correct me if I'm wrong, primitives pass by value, objects pass by reference. Right? And pass by reference changes whatever the original thing was, while pass by value makes a copy. Wow, everyone's running now. Hold on, give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec. Does that make sense though? Who's asked that? Hassan, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. For those who have just joined, so that my boss doesn't kill me. Basic. Okay. Please fill out the attendance form. Just so we get the data. Who showed up, who didn't, etc. All right. Do you guys want to continue doing this when you want to move on to this 9 to 12 and 13 to 14? Want to continue? This is still from classes 1 through 8. Does anyone have any preference? We got like a few more pages left, but unless you want to do one of these class design.
I got a question real quick. Are you gonna be here for tomorrow's one too?
Will I be here for tomorrow's one too? What is tomorrow's one?
Because I forgot her name, but she said there's another like another one of this tomorrow.
Um, uh, I'm not aware. I think tomorrow I have another review session for CS220. So, but for 212, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the one we're happening right now. This is through the Learning Commons. I'm not sure what the one that's happening tomorrow is through. Maybe that's like private to the private review session, but I'm not sure. Anyways, who knows? Maybe if you guys inquire to your professor, he might pay me to do another review session. We'll see. Okay. Does anyone want to do any of these questions? I think we've got enough multiple choices in the
Can you
bag.
do the static ones? That one I didn't get.
Static ones. Okie dokie. Okay, write a static function, swap first two, that swaps the first two elements of an array list integer. So everyone here knows what a static function does, right? Anyone?
I think it's just something that's like there, doesn't really belong. It's like a class or something.
Mhm. Yep. Static method belongs to the class itself rather than any specific object. This means it can be called without creating an instance of the class. Static methods are ideal for operations that are not tied to object state and often serve as utility or helper functions. Okay. So you could just call them. Okay. All right, so let's do a couple of static ones. So write a static function, swap first two, that swaps the first two elements of an array list integer. All right, so what is the um function title line of this going to be?
Public, static, think
What was
uh
it?
int maybe? Or
Does
int.
it return an int?
Actually no, probably void then.
Mm-hmm.
And then swap first two.
Okay, what is a parameter going to be?
Just an array list.
Okay, so let's have array list integer. Let's say array. Okay, so how do I swap two elements? Well, let's first get the elements. So how do I get them? Let's label them X and Y. So what do I get? You could do this without the X and Y, but I like having it um labeled. So how do I get the first element?
Loop, I guess.
Do I
Or
need a loop?
or you just
Or
call array list and then the first one.
So I
Uh,
believe, I'm sorry, so we have the name of the array list is array, so array dot get, and we have 0. I think that is right. So um get, yep, returns the element specified position. So you do dot get, and then what would this one be? Oh, someone other than Rodney. I want the second element. You could type it in the chat as well if you want. So it would be array dot get. Okay, so now I want to swap. Remember, this is a typical 111 function. How do I swap two elements?
you gotta have like a temporary value, right? And
Let's
then
have, let's create a new temp. So temp, and then what do I do?
wait, that's how you declare the temporary value?
Well, you could, if you want, let me do that. Let me explain that actually. If you want to declare multiple variables, you could either do it on multiple lines. So what you could do is int y is equal to array dot get 1, and you could do int temp, right?
Um,
Or if you want, you could declare them all in one line
Oh,
using commas. I like
I
using
thought
commas.
you were putting like temp next to y. I was confused.
Y
I
is
thought you were
equal to.
labeling y as like a temporary value. Yeah.
No, this is like if you want to declare multiple variables of the same type in one line. All right. So what do I do first? Mm-hmm. Temp is equal to x. Then
Then y equals to, oh, okay.
you can do x equal to y, yeah. So remember, we don't want to do y equals yet because we have temp equals x. So we have x stored, so that means we could change it. So we could set x equal to y.
Wait,
And
why couldn't we just do x equals to 1, get 1?
what do you mean? Oh, so you're trying to say that you could do that, like x equal to rate, I got one. I just have like the y's and x and y because I like labeling it, right? You could technically do this without the x and the y, but
No. I meant like, you see where you said x equals to y? Y, like I thought it was going to be x equal to array dot get 1,
what's the rate? I got one.
y. Oh, okay, never mind.
Now you see why I had the labels,
Yeah,
right? And then now that x is equal to y, what should I set y equal to?
X.
Not x. Remember, x is equal to y.
Oh
So
wait, no,
setting
it's a
x.
temporary value.
Mm-hmm. This is
Uh,
why we have the temp. Oh
so the
shoot.
temporary value just stores X pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's like the new reference. Oh,
Sorry, one second. Me. If you need to leave early, feedback form. Thank you. Let me draw this out. Maybe it'll help. So I have x and y, right? Remember, if nothing's the reference, it's deleted. So if I say x is equal to y, this goes away, and then whatever this value is, it's gone because nothing references it anymore. So what do? Is I create a new temp variable. I let temp equal to x, so that even when I delete this connection, the variable itself, the value itself doesn't go bye-bye. And then I set y equal to whatever temp is. Does that make sense? That's why we have temp.
yeah, I got that. Okay.
Mm. Any questions? Anyone want to do one more static function, or do you want to do one of these class design questions? And then we can move on to the next section. Can we do 26? Sure. 26 is asking, write a static function, clear playlist that removes all songs from an array list. Can you do 29 if we have time? Sure, why not? Okay. So we want a clear playlist that removes all songs from array list string. I think array list might have a parameter for that. Empty. No. No. Yeah, you can. List of all elements. I think we'll have to use this. Okay. So I want to remove every single song in a playlist. So well, first let's go into like we're doing right here. Let's write the title line. So someone who hasn't spoken yet, help me write the title line for the function. Is this what all the professors felt like when they did online learning? Just screens with people's names and little letters and a hedgehog, a couple of other profile pictures.
wouldn't it be the same way as the other one? Like,
Well, what would that be, Hassan? Tell me. How about
would
that?
it be like public static void, clear playlist,
Uh,
array string?
I agree. I agree. Clear playlist, array list, string, sure list. Okay. All right. Oops. What's it going to be inside?
Would it be the clear thing? The dot clear. I know that that's a thing.
I don't think it's dot clear. I think you could do remove all, but I'm hesitant because it says,
Oh, it's clear
oh yeah, you
parentheses
do copy.
parentheses.
Oh yeah, we could. Clear it is. Okay, and then we're good.
Oh, also,
Oops.
just out of curiosity, where did you get that massive list of like stuff at?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Okay, this is the nice thing about Java. All of these classes, like they have like a list of all of them.
Oh,
Right? So if you have go to Oracle,
That's
right? So if you just search up Java array list here's a method, but if you just search up Java array list, they have documentation. Scroll down under Oracle. Bingo, right? So you want to do a linked list. It's everything. All right. So
okay,
that's all it is.
thank you.
So if you guys want to like look into these methods and functions on your own, feel free. Like they have all sorts of documentation for all of it. Okay. I think all languages do, but Java I prefer Java over C++ and Python. So I'm used to these. But does anyone have any questions on why this is the case? This one's
that's it,
pretty
right?
straightforward.
Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I think someone said to do 29. We shall do 29, and then for the sake of time, we'll move on to the last two. Sometimes it's annoying because I'm fasting and then my friends send me food, and I'm like, why do I even open this app? I'm sorry, I'm ranting. Anyways, it's been a long day. Write a class playlist that uses an array, array list song and includes a constructor, add song, remove song, number of songs, and get songs. Let's do this. Okay, so we got public class playlist. All right. What variable should I declare?
Uh, like title
I was
of
gonna say
the song name?
songs.
We need something to store songs, right? We need to use
Oh,
the array list. So we could do private array list song, whatever you want to name it. What do we want to name it? What do we want to name it, people?
like
Music.
title.
We're gonna do music or title. Music titles. Very nice. Right? So this is going to be our array list to store all the titles. All right, so now constructor. You have a space for this? Okay. Constructor. What do I declare as a constructor? What's going to be the title line of it?
It would just be a playlist or public playlist.
Hmm.
We'll just have the array list as a parameter, pretty sure.
Well, we don't want the playlist as a parameter. If you want, you could create a different
Or
that
no,
would
no, no, not playlist. That's not what I mean. Like the music titles, like the array list is what I meant.
so you're saying that would be as part of it. So you would pass in the music titles as a parameter and you would put that into here. Is that
I
what you're
mean,
saying? You could, but I would avoid that as a constructor. The role of a constructor is just to create the class with like a base, not think of it as like creating like the base version of it, like without any content in it. So we're just creating a blank music title stuff. See here how we just declare the object and title of it, but we don't actually say. So here we could have usually it's best practice in constructors to have like something like this. So music titles equals new array list song.
so you don't have to put that in the actual like parameter section.
No, the whole point of a constructor is we want to create the class and whatever's
Oh,
in it. So we don't really need to put anything inside the list for now. Does that make sense?
I mean, what would it look like if you were to just put that like in the actual parentheses? Because that's how I usually would like write the constructors. I just put all the stuff that's in the class, like in the parentheses.
So in the case of you're saying, that's a different type of constructor. So here we're only having the constructor we're assuming is like no parameter. But say like what you're saying, so some public playlist, and you say you have an array list. Before people leave, please fill out the feedback form. And you have array list, say music, right? And you want to put that in, right? Well, before you even put it in, you have to remember, you have to create the music titles array list in the first place, right? Because inside the array, inside the class, technically this isn't declared yet. It's just the title of it. So you have to do music titles equals a new array list song, right? And then you have to put each music, each song from music into music titles. If that does that make sense? Or
Wait, what do you
everyone?
mean?
Like then you would, for example, I want to put every song in music into music titles. So then you would do what is it called? For song S. I'm not sure if you learned for each loop, so I don't want to confuse you. In music, you would do
And it would be like add music, like add or something like that, or
yeah, it would be music titles dot add. I'm pretty sure it's add. Where is it? Array list.
yeah, it is add.
You are correct. You would do music titles dot add S, right? And this would be the correct constructor. If you had
There
a
will be a S at the end before.
which one? This one?
Yeah, the one after the add.
Okay, so this sample loop that I'm using right here, it's a for each loop. Does everyone know what a for each loop is? Have you seen it? Anyone? Any takers?
I mean,
So
yeah,
you have C,
yeah.
right? So basically, with the idea of for each loops is we want to get every instance of an object in a container, right? So we're basically because this is oh shoot, sorry. This is a array list of songs. So we're gonna pick out every song in the array list. So for each song S in music, we're gonna add it. I whenever you have like an a container where you don't really know the length of, or you just want to get every single object in a container, for each loops are your best bet. This is technically the same thing as like, for example, if I did for int I is equal to 0, I less into music dot size per se, and then I plus plus, right? And then I could do music dot get I, something like this, right? But see how the other one's like much less words? We don't really, in this case, the index doesn't really make a difference for like, so for song S, music, right? Is everyone okay? Does that make sense to everyone?
I understand that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just um an instructor with parameter. Okay. We'll keep it here just for the sake of why not? All right, so for the sake of time, let's quickly get through this. Add song, remove song, number of songs, get songs. So give me the title lines. Someone quick. Someone hasn't spoken before. Feel free to say it in the chat as well. Or if you want to take a function, feel free to add song, remove song, number of songs, get songs. Pick one, pick one.
I think for like the title, it would just be like public class title, pretty much.
Sorry,
Or
which one?
for a title. Oh wait, I thought you were looking at 30.
No, no, we're on 29.
Oh, or something. Okay.
30 is different, yeah.
I mean, for ad song, that would just be like public
Mm-hmm.
add song, I'm pretty sure. Or
Does it return anything?
oh well, string. Yeah, public string, pretty sure.
Are you sure? Does it return a string? Like when we add a song to the playlist, does it return? I mean, you could return it, but do we really need to return a string?
And no, not really, no.
So let's do void, right?
Ew.
So void add song. Whenever you have these function titles, always remember, think about what they're trying to return. So when we add something to a container, we don't really need to return the objects, like a string or anything. So we could do void. So add song s. So it's pretty simple. What do we do? Rod, you finish it off?
Pretty sure it would just be like playlist and like or like add song or something like that, or like music titles dot add.
Yep,
Okay.
that's it. Music titles dot add s. Okay.
Wait,
All right.
wouldn't it be add song?
What do you mean?
Would it not be like dot add song s?
Well, remember, this add song function is for the playlist class. This add is for the array list class. So we're
Ah,
adding it to the array list. You can't technically do, you can't, sorry, someone's yelling outside. You can't put add song in add song because then it'll be like a forever never ending loop, like what's add song. But here we have dot add because that's this dot add is for the array list. This
oh, I
dot
thought
add
the add
song
song
is
was like
for
set.
playlist. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, okay.
All right, Hassan, while you're unmuted, do the next function.
Bruh, okay. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be public void remove song index?
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then
index.
same as the other music title dot remove, if it's the way you meant it.
Music, but are we just removing everything or are we removing just one thing?
S. Would it be S?
Well, what's the parameter here?
Oh, index. So okay,
Index.
that means okay.
Mhm. Okay, because we're moving out of index. And if you look at array list.remove, it has, yep, int index. All
Oh,
right, someone else. Thank you for that. Let's do number of songs.
Then it would be like public. Wait, what was the yeah, okay, public. It's
Number of songs.
like how many songs there are? Okay.
Hmm.
And then it would be like I don't know if it would be void or int, because it would technically be returning a number.
Yep, it's int.
Okay.
But, like Veronica said, we're going to have int number of songs because whenever we ask for a number of songs in a playlist, that's going to be an integer return. And I don't think there's any parameters, so now we're good.
And it
All
would just
right.
return the I guess size, I think it was, of the array list.
So it would return music titles dot size.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Last one. Someone different. Get songs. Some get songs. I want to one more. hmm for these types of questions, you should always verify or ask your professor like what he means. Like for example, if he's not really specific, it's like get songs, you could just return the entire array list. Pretty sure that it has a print method to it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. No, it does not. Anyways, well, like, good question to who in the world is joining now? Daniel, can you send the attendance form for whoever joined? Um, if you wanted, you say you got this on your exam, right? The number one question you should always ask is what does get songs return? Like, do you want to print every single song in the playlist, or do you just want to like return the actual music titles? In this case, I'm assuming you want to print out um all the songs or like you return all the songs. But here, like this is one of the examples where you should like definitely ask your professor or a proctor like what they want from this, if that makes sense. So now here, what
Yeah,
we're gonna
would it just be like
assume,
a getter or something like that, just for all the songs.
yeah, in this case it would be a getter. So, but that's where like a big confusing thing. Do you want all the songs like to just return music titles, or would it be because in that's the case it would be like array list song and what the hell? And you would do return music titles, right? But some cases it could be like, oh, return each individual song or something like that. But in this case, I think this is good. But this is one example where you should like definitely ask for clarification.
Can you write the other way too?
Wait, what? Huh?
Like, this is how you write all of them?
This is if you just like return the entire list.
Yeah, so how would the individual one look?
So then what would it be?
Wouldn't it be just like music title dot get songs?
I will get like say for example, if I want to get a get song, right? So public song, and then we have get song, right? And say in this case it would be like either an index, right? I think this one is one of those cases where this is an index, so it will be shown. But right, it could be something like music titles dot get index, something of this sort. Or say there's another function called print songs. Wait, I'm running low on space, right? The reason why I'm saying this is like sometimes you could mistaken get songs as like a function to print songs. So it would be something like public void get songs. I'm running solo on space. This is not good. It would be something like then for say another for each loop song S and music titles. You would do system.out print line S. I think there's a two-string method, but something like this. Lower the size, right? Something like this, right? So this would usually be like print songs, but some people you could mistaken this like print songs to get songs. But this is like a good clarification question. Like here, do you want me to return like the entire list? And then if they say yes, and it's like boom, just return music titles, or it's like, oh, you want me to return each individual song, or do you want me to return a specific song, or print all of them, etc. So yeah. So this is the question 29. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Any questions?
Quickly, can you like zoom out so I can take a screenshot the whole thing?
Alrighty. Is that good? I think sec most. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Anyone else while the screenshots are being taken? Also, once again, because there's only like 30 minutes left for this review, if you need to leave early, because for whatever reason, please fill out, Daniel, if you could send it, the feedback form. It's important that we get feedback on these um, to see what we can improve on for the next one. So, anyways, so let's do Kevin's iPhone. Okay. Um, do you guys want to do 9 to 12 or 13 to 14? Or both, or a little bit of questions of both.
I'd say questions from both.
Questions from both. Okay, from 9 to 12, which questions pique your interest? I'm assuming you guys have these review sheets. So which questions? Anyone at all? Um, employee, use employee, print out weekly pay. Circle the best answer. Calls employee.weekly pay. This one, which one do y'all think it would be for number one?
I think it will be B. Or,
Correct me, it
yeah.
would have been C. Yeah. Calls a salaried employee workmail weekly.
Mm-hmm. See, Rodney, look here. See how we have new salaried employee? So it basically, if you go back to that example of subclasses, it would look to whatever salaried employee has for weekly pay and say it doesn't exist for salaried employee, then it would look for employee. But the first thing it always does is check salaried employee.
So it checks
Because sometimes, because remember, sometimes they could change the class. Say this is E and this is salaried employee. This could have a different implementation of the weekly pay than employee.
right. So it checks what type it is before it actually like returns or calls anything.
Yeah, basically think of it as like the subclass thing. It always checks the subclass first, and then if there's nothing here, it checks the parent class. And then if there's nothing here either, it returns.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Um, dynamic dispatch means what in the world does that mean? Hmm. People are saying C. I'm gonna trust you guys because I've never, in all honesty, I've never heard of this. Did anyone else say C?
I would say D.
You would say D.
Yeah.
Are you saying that because you looked at the answer sheets or because
No,
there's a
because
reason?
like Ryba when he was talking about dynamic dispatch, he mentioned that like it would depend on the object's runtime type. So that's why I picked D. I didn't look it up, I swear.
All right, we're gonna trust you then. D it is. Very good, very good. No other better source than Ryba himself. Anywho, okay, so once again, if you have questions, I always look at the um follow your professor. Whatever your professor says is correct or should be correct. So 3 and 4, identically. What is the keyword that creates a subclass, and what's the keyword that helps promise to follow an interface?
That would be A
Three is
extends.
A,
Mm-hmm. And the next one is?
B,
Yep, there you go. Subclasses extend. For interfaces, you implement an interface, right? Because remember, interface C was for the previous question. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. Very good. Yeah. Think of interface as a blueprints. You implement blueprints. Subclasses like grandchildren, children, so we extend it. Okay, extended family. All right. Nums is new array list. Add. I think this one's pretty easy. Let's skip it. What must a class provide in order for objects to be sorted using arrays.sort? All right, for number 7, which one do you guys think?
B.
Hmm. If you want to sort things, you always have to compare them to each other. So you need to have a compare to method. If no compare to, you're not unable to compare two things. And only when you compare them, you're able to sort them. Okay, let's look at 6 real quick. Variable has a type list integer but refers to an array list integer. Which methods may be called? So for this one, um, mhm. Anyone else? Okay. Because the interface, you have to follow whatever list is. And array list might have different implementations of or might have might have extra than list. I think it does have extra ones because it's an array list, but you can only use, because the original is list, there are only methods in the list interface. Okay. Which interface defines the method compare to? I think this
That's
one's
comparator. That's easy, pretty easy.
comparator. Anyone else? I think is comparator an interface or a thing? One sec. Java comparator. I don't think it's comparator. Oh, it is comparator. Whoa. Comparator. Oh, it does. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. It doesn't have it. Where were we? Compare to. Comparing double, comparing what the hell? There is no. C, comparable. Let's check it. Java comparable. Yep, there you go. Compare to here might use something from comparator, but comparable has the compare to method. So this one has to be comparable, right? Yeah. See. Okay. Any questions about that? Once again, I mentioned this before, but if you want to find like the documentations, just feel free to search them up online and they should be able to be found quite easily. All right, let's see. C is A. Number 10, we're going to speed run these. Which block handles an exception?
Catch.
Try.
It's try catch, the traditional try catch. So catch would be your block that handles except.
Bingo. It's a try catch block, but the catch portion of the block does. What does the keyword throw do? Veronica says C. Does anyone agree? Okay, we got a yes for agree. Now, 12 is asking what the keyword throws do. Okay, Vipasha says A. Anyone else agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think
Say it again.
I think it is A.
Anyone else? Anyone else? I agree. Right. So you might see sometimes like this function throws exception, etc. Right? That's saying it could throw an exception. And that if it does throw an exception, that's the type it'll throw. Whereas throw is like you'll see throw new yada yada yada. So that's the new um throw. Let me write out. So you'll see like throw new whatever exception it is. So right when you see new, that's when that's when you can tell it creates an object. So it throws an exception object. Okay. Which of the following is a checked exception? What in the world is a checked exception?
Pretty sure that's C.
Checked exception.
Yeah, it says IO exception, input output exception.
I will go with the majority. I've never heard of checked exception before. We'll
Checked
go with that.
exception is like it's for check the compile time.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, see this. If a checked exception is not caught, a method must. What must it do? I don't think I've learned this in 12.
I
Damn.
think it's B.
Yeah, Pretty sure converts to runtime exception.
So again, I'm going with popularity. B it is. All right. Okay, so now which version of the method runs? Okay. Class provides the method that executes. Employee equals new hourly employee. System now equally weekly pay. Raised hand. Where's the raised hand? What's up, Vasha? Sorry if I
I
butchered your name.
had to I was doing the question myself and I was confused when I Googled it. It's actually
Mhm.
saying it declares as using
Oh,
throws.
right. Right. He does using throws.
Yeah.
Oh,
The majority was wrong. I've been fooled. What is this? Oh my word. Declare using throws. Oh wait, because if it's a runtime exception, input output, it won't necessarily stop the program, right? I don't think IO exceptions stop the program. So in that case, you need to declare it. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's why. Yeah, because if it's not caught, you have to declare it. Because if you convert it to a runtime exception, that's not it. But I think we'll go with C if that's the case. Anyone have any comments about that? Any confusion about that? Gives me a second to catch my breath. Okay, we're good. Any questions? We're going a bit fast with these. So if there's any questions, feel free to um pause me. Okay, part two, method resolution. For each example, state which version of the method runs. What in the world? Employee E equals new hourly employee Bob 2040. Print out. Okay, so this is similar to the first question. Which one of these classes provides the method that executes? That's so slanted. Damn. There you go. Any takers?
I think staff one would do that.
Sorry, what? Where are you?
Oh wait, no.
We're on question one of part two.
Oh shoot. Okay. Uh yeah, I think hold on.
Mm-hmm. So we got one vote for hourly employee.
hourly employee.
Yep. In this case, E, I'm pretty sure is either an interface. Pretty sure it is an interface. But the actual method itself, the version of it, is gotten from hourly employee,
Wait,
right?
why is it that one?
If you remember for the first question, see here how we have employee E equals new salaried employee. Employee E, this is like the general one. Like all salaried employees are employees, but not every employee gets paid the same way as a salaried employee, right? So if I were to call weekly pay for E, it would first check salaried employee, right? Because it could be the case that a salaried employee gets paid differently than every employee. So it has to check salaried employee first. Same thing here, right? Hourly employee could be different than employee, right? So we have to first check hourly employee's weekly pay method. And then if that's the case that it's nothing there, then we can check employee if there's something in there, but it most likely will be the case that hourly employee has a weekly pay function. Does that make sense? Y'all gotta go round up. Any
So,
questions?
so it's just because they're paid differently, so I guess the functions call different things. Or
Yeah, because you remember the chart we had? So this is employee, and we've seen two examples. We've seen hourly employee. This is hourly employee. This is salaried employee, right? So this is employee. So if I have a new employee, but he's an hourly employee, he gets paid differently than a salaried employee, right? So if I were to check E dot weekly pay, this has to first check whatever the method is in the subclass, or however it's implemented in the subclass, and then say it's not implemented here, then it could check employee if it is implemented in employee, right?
So if it was an hourly employee, it would have to like incorporate like weekly pay if it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. So in most cases, good programming, it has to be like hourly employee has to implement all the methods in employee, right? So this would most certainly check hourly employee for how they get paid. Okay. Any other questions? We could do one more here, and then we'll move on to 13 to 14. Let's do these interfaces. Any questions? Anyone have a specific question they want to do? This one, once again, we've explained it through through the two questions, but because there's different subclasses, so they could have different implementations of weekly pay. Anyone? You want to do part 3, part 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8? No, 8. Any takers? One more minute for people. Try and find a question before we move on to the next section. I enjoy. Any other questions? If there's no other questions, let's move on to lectures 13 to 14. Okay. Let me just say it as well. Would it be helpful if I sent the updated PDFs in the chat before we end? Or no? Maybe? The silence is a bit. So chat. Sure, yes, yes, yes. All right, I'll send it. Okay, let's do a few questions from this, and then we'll call it a day, and I'll probably go get a nap or something. I don't know. Okay. So public interface caption, action, void execute. This interface is called. What are these types of interfaces called? Functional interface. Anyone else?
I think B.
Hmm. So it defines functions. Pretty sure that's what it is. Functional interface. Sure, let's go with it. Oh, let me just actually make sure that's the case. Java functional interface. Has exactly one abstract method, making it ideal for use for lambda expressions and method references. Yep, okay. What was I? Yep, functional interface. Okay. Action A equals parentheses system.out.println. The lambda expression provides the body for which method? Which method does this lambda function provide a body for?
I think it's A. I don't
You
know.
think it's A, but if we look here, what's the method?
Hmm. Uh,
See how the function here is execute?
yeah.
So whenever we call a lambda function, it's providing this fills in for execute. So it's execute. Does that make sense?
So I guess like the print statement is a stand-in for execute then? Or
No, it's like it would fill in the blank, like void execute. It would be something like this. System dot out dot print line hello. like this. Basically fills it in.
Oh,
All right. Does that make sense? This is basically allows for like flexible functions, right? Sometimes not all functions can be the same in terms of how the code is, but just having this flexibility is really helpful. And that goes into like why Java is like very useful because of the principles it allows you to use object-oriented programming principles, which are very important. And hopefully Ryba teaches you those principles eventually. Okie dokie. Next question. So Lambda, we've seen this. What does it do? It implements a functional interface, right? And here's another example of uh functional interface. So what would this print?
I think it would print 7, maybe, or no.
Yep, it would print 7. What would it do? It would do the add function, add, apply, this whatever declared. So 3 and 4 becomes 3 plus 4, which is 7. So we print out 7. Okay. Let's move on. Let's skip a bit. We got 8 minutes, and I want to show you guys where the stuff will be located. And main advantage.
C,
Yes. What was that? Sorry.
C.
C is an advantage, yeah. It is shorter syntax, but also I think D is also it avoids object entirely. But I think the main, in my opinion, would be multiple inheritance. You could use the same lambda function. Like you don't gotta create up multiple times. But I think either one of these is good. Once I think this was one check the answer because these are all good answers in my opinion. Can anyone confirm what it is, actually? My gut says B or C. Maybe even D. They're all good answers. Uh, let's move on. Callback. Mhm. Click this method. You want to do this question? I'm just scrolling through seeing which ones might be done. Callback design. Sure, let's do this one. Okay. So we want to do a functional interface called calculator. So what would the title line for the interface be if I scroll up and give you a bit of a hint? So what would be the title line for this interface?
That's public interface calculator.
hmm Okay, and then what would the function be?
It would just be like add or multiple, like combine or something like that. I don't even know. Because you can do,
Well, look, what's the one method we need?
oh, we'll just compute.
So it could be, is it public? I think it's
Int or
int
void.
compute. Yeah, so it's gonna be, where am I? I lost where I am. Damn it, where am I? There it is. It could be int compute. We have int A, int B. So now I want to create a lambda expression that implements calculator and multiplies. So that entail.
Can you repeat that?
I want to write a lambda expression that implements calculator and multiplies the two numbers. Hint, we can see an example up here where it right here.
I think it would be like operation compute X and Y or A and B.
Well, it's not operation. What is the name of it?
Oh,
It's
calculator.
calculator.
Right, calculator. Calculator.
And we could name it compute, or we say let's keep it multiply equals, and what are we taking in as parameters? A and B. And what does it do? It does A times B. Make sense? Is everyone okay with this? Anyone else? If you look here, it's pretty similar to what we did with the add. Right, you're taking the parameters. We only need to say what it was. We just say taking the parameters, multiply it. We're all good. Yeah. Okay. All right. And now I want to write a function. Now I want to use a lambda function and write code that prints the result of. Daniel, could you send the feedback sheet one more time? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do system dot out dot print line, and I'm going to do
Multiply.
mhm.
Multiply dot apply, I think.
I think I'm just making sure what you're correct. It is, yep. Multiply dot compute.
How come
Multiply,
print this time?
because remember, it has to be dot compute.
Oh, okay.
Multiply is the name of the interface, and compute is a function. You don't necessarily write it here, but we still have to write the compute. So multiply dot compute. What are the numbers? 4 and 5. Does that make sense for everyone? Everyone okay with that? Any
Uh,
questions? Oh, sorry, did someone say something?
so it would have to equal A and B. Like you can't just have it like have the arrow point to A times B.
Well, you have to declare the parameters for whatever being, because see how the parameters are int A and B? So you basically have to show what it is like being implement, like what are the inputs are. Right? Because sometimes you could have to say I have three numbers, right? Then I have to show, oh, if I have three numbers, then this is what I do. Or if I just want two numbers, right? I just do A, B, 0, and then we just return A times B, right? So it has to match the number of parameters we declared for the interface function. Does that make sense? Everyone okay with that? Does anyone want to do one more question before we call it wraps? And I'll show you all we think. I will show you guys where the thing is located. Before I do that, let me actually send this in the chat. File. Actually show Queens College Learning Commons. Right? This is what I was saying when these tutoring sessions are to the Learning Commons. So if you go here, you go to resources, CSCI resources. You scroll down here. When you click on 212, you shall see Ryba. So the recording for it will be up soon, hopefully. But yeah, this is where the recording will be located. Give me one second. But yeah, this is where it's going to be located. Any last questions before we wrap up? I think we've got quite a few done today. Let me just post the files here as well.
How long will it take for the video to be up?
When's your exam?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Um, I want to say Monday it will be up, but I don't want to make promises because usually like these videos it takes a while to like for it to load on Zoom and stuff. And once again, it is Friday and the weekend is weekend. So I want to say Monday. Hopefully by Monday I'll let them know. Um Ideally before your exam, if anything, but hopefully by Monday, is what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna make any promises though.
Will you be still sending the files to the Discord or?
I sent them in the chat right now. Oh,
Oh,
I sent them into the wrong person. Give me a sec.
Um, just one last question. Where can we access the review sheet from 13 to 14 PDF?
This one?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
I
we
mean,
already have it's just that one PDF file that I didn't get. That's what I wanted to.
do you want the review problems lecture 13 to 14?
Yeah, yeah, th those two.
I sent all three of them that we were sending in the chat. So I sent 8, 9 through 12, and 13 and 14 in the chat right now. Um, I honestly got these from Lauren, I think one of your lab professors. But so if you could ask your lab professors, that could be another way to get it. But I did send it in the chat, so feel free to use the one in the chat as well. Any questions? Any last thoughts? She posts them in the Discord. Oh, okay. Even better then. Any last questions before we finish up the review session? All right, I'll take that. No. Feel free if you haven't, then you'll send a feedback form one more time. Please fill out the feedback form. It really helps getting the data on what we did well, what we did not well. Be as brutal as you must need to be. And yeah, good luck on your exam. You're all gonna be fine. Thank you for those who participated. It's all gonna be great. Don't study too hard and get your rest. It'll all be good. And I'll try to ask to get the recording done by Monday. Have a good day, everyone. Have a great weekend. Gonna end the meeting. Oh, I should stop the recording before I do that. Call myself. Stop recording.